think that you should have a difference between like personal and business brands, right? So it's just like kind of like this podcast is like behind the scenes because we are so like professional and have to be so like mindful of what's said and what captions and like what we do and what we see. Like, how do you feel about that? Like moving forward, like, do you feel as if like you should keep everything separate, or is it just like, this is me?
The great thing about us is we are our brand. Mm-hmm. And that's what separates us. It's like now I'm in a place, before I had like all these things I had to juggle. And at the end of 2020, I cut a lot of ties with things and businesses and certain things. So I can go back to focusing on Karen, my Civil Essentials line, this podcast, like Queen's Business, Queen's Gaming, like the K-Swiss stuff we're doing. So it's more falls in line with who I am as an individual. Mm-hmm. And that's what I had to realize, is like really understanding my core values and what matters to me. So what you see me post is what you see is what you get. Where the difference is, say somebody who is a hairstylist, for instance, right? Say you own a hair salon and like your beauty business and everything. Somebody who's a hairstylist, it's a little bit different because I want to see your work. No offense. I don't want to see your avocado toast. I don't want to see like a selfie and things like that. It's separated.
Crazy because I'm a little bit different because I don't want to just see hair. Like,
but this is the thing.
Mix it up.
You have a page dedicated to that.
Right, I do.
So this right here, this is why it's not the same for you, because you are your brand.
Well, I was just talking about from other people, like other hairstylists. I like to, like, if they have, like, say if I follow a hairstylist that I really, really like their work, I follow them and I pray, like, they have, like, a personal page because, like, I'm just all about, like, the emotional connection or getting to know somebody. And it's so hard to get to know somebody through hairstyles, but I do like looking at new hairstyles because I want to try new hairstyles. But it's just, like, it's like a fine line because also for me in 2021, like, I want to work on my personal brand, right?
Yeah.
As far as like the mean brand, like letting people know who I am as a person, because I always tell people like one of my biggest goals this year is to grow my influence, right? And I tell people like once you grow your influence, you can sell people anything. Like anything that you love, you know what I mean? If you have the influence, they'll buy it.
Paid to be yourself.
Yeah, so it's just like I want to introduce people and get people to know more about me, my authentic self, how crazy I am, how funny I am, like, you know what I mean? Like, how I think and just like, so that's kind of like, I was just asking, because I just asked everybody, like, how do you feel about being so transparent?
I think for me, now I'm in a place of transparency. I want to show that more because I don't want to seem perfect. My life is not perfect. I want people to see, like, it's a roller coaster and I'm enjoying the ride. So when I say a roller coaster, it has ups and downs. So unfortunately, it's like when they see Instagram, they see this perfect picture. You know, I put a lot of work into getting
one picture.
I will take 1,000 and I'm going to post one. I hate a carousel and everything else. I like the one photo. But to go into that takes a lot. That's why even with this podcast is like you get to hear my thoughts. You get to hear my ideologies, what I'm thinking, just a conversation and everything else. And we're just very transparent where I'm excited about this, where I was even a little nervous about this because I'm like, okay, I was like overthinking, like, what if I say something like this? What if I say this? People, because like I read comments. And I'm not gonna pretend I don't.
And so,
like, I search my name. Like before, I don't do it anymore. But it's like I used to search my name, see what people say, and it would bother me because I'm not gonna pretend like I was just always this strong person. I had to build myself into this, like to build myself into the space where I didn't let other people's notions and ideas of who I should be, how I should look, affect me. And now I just want to be present in my skin, if that makes sense.
It does.
I want to show up as my authentic self, whether, I'm coming from a place of love where I'm not I'm not trying to misappropriate myself. I'm not trying to speak for anyone else, you know, and as long as our audience has a little bit of grace the same way I do, and we'll be okay. And it's just like, again, it's a roller coaster of just enjoying the ride.
And it's so crazy because when people like put up crazy shit about me, like my friends and stuff be way more madder than me. Like,
I'll be upset.
You be so pissed. Like, you might call me like, "Are you okay?" Like, I'm like,
do you want me to take it down? Do you want them gone? You be like,
no, these people are. I just think people are fucking nuts. Like, and then it's just like,
you know what I did learn from you, which I live by this quote. I need my business back because you telling it wrong.
Yeah, give me back my business. Cause like, even like the one girl who was like talking about like how I started my business and how like,
oh yeah, she talks about me too.
Oh yeah, and how I got all this drug money and all types of stuff. I'm like, girl, give me back my fucking business because you know telling it wrong. But people was like, I was actually going to comment in the comments like, girl, let me grab my popcorn and read these comments. I was just like, you know what? I ain't even finna fuck with these people. And people were like calling me like, are you okay? I'm like, man, fuck them. Like
but you know what I realized?
Where I came from. Like,
you know what I realized?
Tell my story
is I never pretend to be the king or the queen of it. You know, if the people happen to praise you, you accept it, you take it. But they're always going to be, I say, the 2%. 8% of people, 8 people will love you, 2 people will hate you. And I'm now at a place, before I used to focus on those 2 people. And I just be like, why don't you like me? Look
Fuck
at these
them people.
No, but that's how I was. I'd be like, look at these 8 people who love me. And I'm like, first of all, why the fuck do I even care? And that's the place. It's such a powerful place to be in, but it takes time to get there. Because you know what? Social media can be fucking hard. Growing up, you got bullied or somebody said something and you go to fuck home. Like, you didn't hear about it. Now the internet, it's like, it kind of just
it'll just go viral. Like, even like when we went to Queen Naja's birthday party and we ran into one of the owner of the vlogs, and I was just like, why the fuck?
Oh, spiritual word. Yeah. Shout out to them. Like, they're one of my favorite sites.
Yeah, I love him. And I was like, why the fuck you keep reposting this girl? He was like, what? I was like, yeah, you didn't think that was going to, because like we had just met. This is our first introduction. And that was the first thing out of my mind. It's like, why the fuck do you keep, but I was just fucking with him, right?
Yeah.
And so then he was like, what? Everybody was defending you. And I was just like, no, I'm just joking. I'm just fucking with you. I'm like, because my store did 80% more because people were just trying to figure out who so Ming was. So I was just like, anytime you want to repost that, let's do it.
They'll rather believe a negative than a positive because in their mind, they already have this notion of they can't make it. So they want to feel like you cheated your way into making it.
Or like you can't really be, like I read a comment the other day where it's just like, I bought a new car. She was like, oh girl, I thought you had to trade in your other one to get another one. And I was just like, let's normalize black girl luxury.
Because that Lambo is still sitting in the driveway. We got them both.
Like there was no trade-in needed. But it's like, it seems like it's unattainable or unreachable for like black women to be successful,
or just like black people.
It gotta be somebody behind her. There's nobody behind. I tweeted like not too long ago, like in a relationship, I went G-Wagon and Range Rover. Out being single, I went Lamborghini and Maybach, and it was just like it's with or without.